Aloha, everybody, and welcome finally to the 2017 Dallas Regional Championships. My name is Gabby Snyder, and I'm joined here by my co-commentator, Adam Dorricott. Hey, Adam, how's your morning been?
It's been a fun morning. We've definitely had some challenges getting this stream on the go, but now it is here. I'm very, very excited. We've got a very fun match, I think, to kick off the day.
It's going to be a lot of fun. You want to jump right into talking about this? Because I know our viewers have been waiting for a little bit of time.
Yeah, we would like to take a moment to apologize for the wait, of course. These events are tricky things to run, and we are here now, so please sit back and enjoy for the rest of your afternoon, and we'll lead you into the 2017 year with starting off with this match where we have Huang versus Samuel Haarsma. So some of you may know Samuel for some of his more unconventional teams, and we thought we'd kick it off with something a little bit exciting to start the day.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I think his team is probably one of the most unconventional teams I've seen yet in this format. Would you believe me if I told you he's running 6 Ultra Beasts?
I would personally believe you, because I've seen the team sheet, but the viewers at home, we are not joking. This team contains 6 Ultra Beasts, and they look to be coming together as a very cohesive team, so I'm definitely excited to watch this one in action. And Eric himself hasn't exactly bought the standard meta team that we know to be evolving.
Yeah, Eric, I mean, not to give people spoilers, but since we are going to be starting very soon, I might say the word Braviary. That might be something you wouldn't expect. Or, I might say, let's go into team preview, and I'll get right to these teams. All right, so as I said, Eric Huang's running Tapu Lele, Tapu Koko, Ninetales, that Braviary, Alolan Marowak, and Alolan Persian versus Sam's team of Nihilego, Formosa, Celesteela, Kartana, Circuitry, and Guzzlord.
I'm not even sure which team to start on for this one. Both of them are particularly exciting. I think we have to start with Sam's, of course.
I feel like we really do, because I think he's the first trainer that I've heard of personally to ever attempt to build a team out of all Ultra Beasts. I think a lot of people have been using them as sort of, very decent supports to build around, but no one's said, hey, why don't I just build my Ultra Beast team around Ultra Beasts?
Well, what I love about the Ultra Beast team is the Ultra Beasts kind of come in 2 varieties. They come in that very fast and offensive style, the Nihilego, the Kartana, and the Pheromosa, but then the bulkier sort of slow it down Pokemon, the Celesteela and the Guzzlord in particular, I think, can add something to his team. But it's not like Eric doesn't have a mix of firepower himself, of course. We're both excited about the Braviary, America's favorite bird Pokemon.
The bravest of all bird Pokemon, I believe.
Well, it may be trying to get some brave birds off and do some good damage to some of these teams, especially things like the Pheromosa, maybe even the Kartana, of course, doing good neutral damage. So that both the players have locked in their teams, and they are ready to get going and kick us off here at the Dallas Regional Championships.
All right, I'm so excited that these trainers are raring to go. I personally am raring to go. I know you're raring to go. Let's finally get this show on the road as we wait to see what these trainers are going to lead. Once again, this is Samuel Haarsma versus Eric Huang, and Sam starts this match out with Nihilego and Formosa as his lead against Eric's Braviary, there it is, and the Alolan Marowak.
So a very, very offensive lead, I think, from both trainers here. Of course, we do see on Sam's side of the field a definite speed advantage. Both these Pokemon exceptionally fast, and that Nihilego is a fantastic lead here, of course. Both these Pokemon weak to rock-type moves, Nihilego being the rock poison type, could be slapping something with a power gem right off the bat, and an early knockout would be really good for Sam's team. It relies on picking up momentum and using that beast boost ability, so once he gets rolling, it's really hard to stop him rocking.
Yeah, in terms of that beast boost ability, it almost looks like Sam's built his entire team around it. There's a lot of options I think he has, especially with a lead like this, to just be really offensive straight off the bat, and we'll have to see if that's what he decided to do here. Braviary, though, taking things slow at first, but Sam with a Z move, it looks like that's going to be an all-out pummeling from that Formosa.
It's going to be a big one. The Z move, very important in this current format, and using it on turn 1 is such a gamble, of course. If you go into a Protect like we saw from the Braviary, then you're kind of in trouble. We are going to see it target down that Braviary. The Protect isn't going to save it entirely, of course. It's still going to take damage through that Protect, but it's almost slightly wasted from Sam, only getting about 40% damage down onto the Braviary. So we have to see what Nihilego follows up with.
Nihilego with that Power Gem into the Alolan Marowak. It deals a ton of damage and gets the knockout in one hit, and there's that Beast Boost ability activating, boosting Nihileto's special attack. So its next power gem is going to be even more powerful, especially since we just saw that Life Orb revealed on Sam's side of the field.
Very good turn for Sam there. I love that he got the Beast Boost on the Nihilego, of course, knowing that he can put pressure on the Braviary next turn with the power gem, of course, powered up by that Beast Boost, is probably going to be taking a very easy knockout with the damage from the all-out pummeling. He is going to be missing that maybe later in the game, although it looks like there's not so much on Eric's team that he does want to catch with it. So good to get some damage down with it, and it'll be up to Eric to pull out his Z move if he has one, and see if he can get himself back in the game. Of course, they're very important, and they can definitely swing the game for a player who uses them wisely.
Yeah, Tapu Lele taking the field on Eric's side in place of that Marowak. A great play, I think, by Eric. He's looking to possibly deal a lot of damage with that Psychic, but instead we actually see Tapu Lele protect this turn. Ice Beam from the Formosa is going to connect with the Braviary, but will it be enough to knock it out? It is, and Formosa too is now going to benefit from that Beast Boost ability, getting a boost in its highest stat, which in this case is also the special attack. Sludge Bomb from that Nihilego into the protecting Tapu Lele, and just like that, Sam has boosted both of his first Ultra Beasts, I guess I should say, and has forced Eric down to his last two Pokemon, that Tapu Koko, which we just saw take the field, setting up that Electric Surge, and the Tapu Lele.
It's going to be a really tough position here from Eric. Of course, we've got Ultra Beast versus Tapu Pokemon. Going to be interesting. Eric maybe has a bit of a comeback option here. The Tapu Koku is going to be exceptionally fast, maybe able to pick up a quick knockout, but he's got a lot to do to slow down these two, and we see the offensive power of the Ultra Beast just working. He leads very offensively, and he just has this game in his hand due to the momentum he's picked up. Nothing is particularly safe on the field right now, as we see Pheromosa just go and try and do some damage.
Wow, Ice Beam into the Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko hanging on with 14 HP. We're going to see a Dazzling Gleam knock out the Pheromosa from the Tapu Koko on Eric's side of the field, and Tapu Koko gets knocked out due to the Life Orb recoil on it, unfortunately, leaving this down to Tapu Lele versus Nihilego, who moves first with that Sludge Bomb, and it knocks Tapu Lele right out. That was amazingly played by Sam, but it almost feels like Eric knows all of his tricks moving forward now going into game two.
Well, he's definitely given up the ghost, and there's no shock element, I think, when we go to pretty much what we have in game two, which is, oh my lord, there's 6 Ultra Beasts on this team, how do I answer them? So that shock element is gone, and that's going to be something that Eric has to look to answer as we get through this game. I think the power that we saw from Sam was generated by the speed of the Pokemon he bought. Of course, Pheromosa and Nihilego, very, very fast Pokemon, going to be able to put down that damage very early. So I think if Eric rather would like to get back in this game, he needs to bring something to control the speed. He definitely has some options on his team, but getting those options out and getting the speed control set up safely is going to be a real ask for Eric, I think, in game two.
Yeah, you know, if the Persian on his team knows Fake Out or something similar, that might be a great opportunity for a Pokemon such as maybe Braviary to set up Tailwind. We might see something like a Trick Room or something, maybe. His team's very interesting with that Alolan Marowak. It almost feels like he maybe shouldn't have brought it that first game, because it might be more of a Trick Room counter per se. But these trainers are jumping right into it, so clearly they know where they're going for this next game.
Yeah, I think both players know the game was pretty simple and straightforward, so both players know what they want to do. There's the shock factor going for Eric, but definitely looking a little under pressure. That game really went very quickly against him in Sam's favor, and I think Sam knows that. So maybe he'll switch up the lead, or maybe he won't, as I am immediately proven wrong.
Yeah, so we're going to see again the Formosa and Nihilego from Sam, Braviary and Persian on Eric's side of the field. So again, we see the Braviary, but this time we are seeing the Persian take to the field, which I think is a great indication that it is carrying something like Fake Out, or who knows, maybe there's something else it can do to help him out here.
No, the presence of Fake Out on Persian is definitely going to help him. If he can stop one of these two attacking, then perhaps his Braviary can stay on the field for a little bit longer. Of course, it's going to be scared of Power Gem. We saw Pheromosa with Ice Beam. But Braviary has the option to bring speed control in the form of Tailwind. Sam, though, not going offensive right off the bat.
We see Sam switch out that Formosa into Circuitry, which is an electric-type Pokemon, so still carrying an advantage here on the field. Fake Out into the Nihilego, so Nihilego will not attack this turn, and Braviary using that speed control, getting a Tailwind up on the field. So for the next 2 turns, Eric's Pokemon may be faster than those Ultra Beasts, so we'll just have to see.
Yeah, it's definitely going to help Eric out. That is something he really needed. Of course, he didn't get it in game 1, but now he knows what Sam's team does, so he can adapt and bring Tailwind this game. I'm not so sure if the slower Pokemon in his team, like Alolan Marowak, is still going to be faster and moving before Sam's team, but things like Braviary, things like the Persian, definitely going to be going first in the turn and maybe able to put down a lot of pressure that way and maybe get a knockout and slow Sam down a little bit.
We see Braviary switch out and a Marowak take the field, so this might be a good indication that this Marowak is going to operate well under this Tailwind. Snarl from that Alolan Persian connecting with Xurkitree and Nihilego, who are both specially attack sort of oriented Pokemon, so that's definitely going to hurt Sam's potential damage output. Power Gem into the Alolan Marowak though, and even with the Snarl, it is still enough to knock it out. So we see that Beast Boost activate once again and cancel out the special attack drop from Snarl. So it's almost like that attack didn't happen except for the damage output. And Xurkitree too, dealing its own sort of mitigation for that Snarl using Tail Glow, which will raise its special attack by 2 stages.
Very smart play from Sam there, and it definitely punished that switch from Eric. He knew that Alolan Marowak was a potential on Eric's team, so instead of just throwing out a Thunderbolt or an electric type attack in general, he just plays it safe, thinks he may have the time to set up a Tail Glow, which he does, so that's null and void on both Pokemon on the side of the field, and Nihilego just punishing the switch. So a brave switch from Eric that just didn't quite pay off because of very clever prediction on where to put the Power Gem from Sam.
We see Tapu Koko take the field on Eric's side, setting up that electric terrain, which almost looks like it might benefit Xurkitree a little bit more than that Tapu Koko. You know, we know that Tapu Koko is one of the fastest Pokemon in the metagame right now, so who it targets we'll have to see. Xurkitree going for Protect, Dazzling Gleam from that Xurkitree, going to connect with the Nihilego. Will it do enough to knock it out? It hardly does any damage at all. I believe Tapu Koko took more Life Orb recoil there than anything else, and we see another Snarl from that Persian. Again, Xurkitree protecting Nihilego, taking it though head on and losing that special attack drop. But firing back a Sludge Bomb into the Tapu Koko, and it still is able to get the knockout despite the fact that its special attack was lowered.
No, very interesting way the team works. Of course, Eric looking to use this Snarl to lower special attacks and help keep his Pokemon around a little more, but with the threat of Beast Boost, with the Tail Glows, that Snarl's just not doing its job, so it's almost a wasted turn from Eric here. Definitely under the thumb, and Sam just really showing off the pressure that you can bring when you bring these Ultra Beasts. So it'll be interesting to see throughout the day how people build these Ultra Beasts into their team, because I don't think we're going to see all 6 on a team again.
I really don't think we're going to see that. You know, and it's a great call by Sam. I think Ultra Beasts are Pokemon that are just naturally very strong, and to utilize all 6 of them sort of gives him an advantage in the sense that, you know, his Pokemon are going to be the most offensive. They're going to be the most defensive. They're going to be the fastest, barring like Tapu Koko, for example. So his team is definitely built to do well today, but it's going to come down to, you know, how does he handle situations like Trick Room? How does he handle situations where, I don't know, maybe there'll be a Aurora Veil on the field that'll help mitigate some of his attacking power. But for now, it almost looks like he has this in his hands. We do see another Snarl from that Persian, this time connecting with the Xurkitree, lowering its special attack 1 stage, activating its held item, which appears to be a healing berry of some sort. It is the Citrus Berry, of course, and Sky Drop from the Braviary, picking that Xurkitree up, bringing it into the sky, and stopping it from attacking this turn.
I love seeing the Sky Drop on Braviary, and definitely it's a move I'm interested in this format, because people rely on everything in their team right now. There's not parts that you can just go missing. So Sky Drop taking Xurkitree out could be very, very helpful, especially with the way that Tailwind ends and then comes back. So definitely smart play from Eric. I don't know if it's going to be enough to get him back into this game, but it's definitely something to look out for during the day, and I think this is just an indication of how varied and exciting the format is, where we see Sam just switching around to keep himself safe.
We see Pheromosa switch in to take the Snarl from the Alolan Persian, dropping its special attack 1 stage. Braviary returning Xurkitree to the ground with a Sky Drop. However, it doesn't deal enough damage for a knockout, and I believe Xurkitree will still attack this turn with a very powerful Thunderbolt into that Braviary, and it knocks it out. So unfortunately for Eric, unless this Alolan Persian has something else hidden up its sleeve, this might be a 2-0 win for Sam.
It looks like it's going to be a very easy win. Both teams built very interestingly, but Sam just seems exceptionally confident with this team. Definitely knows all of the plays that it can make, and I definitely think it's a good person to have in your resistance as you look for the tournament. Of course, the way this works is you want to lose to good players, so Sam looks like somebody you want as a loss on your record. I think that's going to be a really big asset to Eric as he moves through the day.
Definitely. I mean, Sam, he did qualify for Worlds last year. He's been competing for a long time. But first, let's talk about the Z move. Looks like Formosa wants to show off its all-out pummeling one last time before the end of this match on stream. Take it away, Daz.
Well, we see all-out pummeling is going to do so much damage throughout the day for Sam. I love the animation, but it just catches anything. Unless you resist it, even with the protect, you still can't take it. And of course, all-out pummeling into the dark type that Persian picked up in Alola is going to take a very easy knockout. So Sam just styling as we move into the back end of this game, but it's definitely something to note. I think the Z move is something we're going to talk about a lot today, and how it impacts the team so much. Of course, it's so important to use your Z move effectively.
Yeah, and in situations like that, while it is fun to get one last Z move dance in, I think that it's really important that you plan your Z moves well. I don't think we even saw a Z move from Eric, which is interesting. It might be an indication that it wasn't really something he was considering in the team building process. And I think to be an effective battler in 2017, you really need to keep that in mind. You need to keep your Z move options in mind, and just have it as another thing in your toolbox. Like you said, you need to utilize the entirety of your team.
It's definitely such an important move. The amount of damage it does is absolutely obscene. So you want to make sure that when you use it, it's going to be effective. You don't want to get caught by any abilities that nullify it, such as Lightning Rod, such as Storm Drain. And I just want to see people using it well. And I think the player that comes out on top today is going to be the player that executes a Z move every game in the best fashion.
Definitely. Well, that's it for this round one. We'll be right back with a player interview. I believe we're going to interview Sam, so please stay tuned. Welcome back to the Dallas Regional Championships. I'm here with Sam, who just won his first round. How's it feel?
It feels pretty good. The first round is always like the hardest one.
Yeah, no, you didn't seem to have any bad luck yet. It seems like your team is really interesting. What made you consider using 6 Ultra Beasts?
I tested a lot of stuff, and the Ultra Beasts kept being like the MVPs of every team that I was making. So at a certain point, I'm like, why don't I just use all of them? And then there were 7 of them, so I had to leave Buzzwole out.
So why did you leave Buzzwole out?
Buzzwole and Pheromosa do kind of the same thing. Pheromosa just does it faster. So.
Did you have any difficulties trying to figure out how to piece all of the Ultra Beasts together in one team?
No, actually, once I put them all like in front of me, it's like, oh no, these all just kind of seem to click together. It was like Game Freak did the work for me.
That's always pretty nice when you don't have to put as much thought into it. So going into practice for this regional, did you do anything special?
Not really. Like, I caught a bunch of Zerkatries and used the one with the hidden power that helped me the most, which probably wasn't the best hidden power, but it's what I had, so.
Nice.
It's Ghost.
It's
It's Ghost.
I mean, with that tail glow, honestly, I imagine any hidden power would do a ton of damage.
It needs to hit Marowak switch-ins, and that did it, so.
Are there any Pokemon that you're afraid of seeing today?
Pokemon specifically, not really, but Choice Scarves are terrifying.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's almost like you don't have any speed control.
Almost. You might say that.
Well, fingers crossed. I think we saw a very Trick Room-oriented metagame coming out of San Jose a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
So people might not be thinking to bring their Choice Scarves. They might want to slow it down a little bit.
And if they do, I have a Guzzlord for that, which has been fantastic in practice.
So what does Guzzlord do, if you don't mind me asking?
It takes hits from basically everything and then snarls back at them. And like half my team is not really friendly with Marowaks, so Guzzlord helps me a lot there.
I can imagine. All right, so before we wrap this interview up, do you have any shout-outs you'd like to make or anything you want to just call out in Dallas that you're having fun with?
Yeah, I've been here a week. I'm staying with, I've been hanging out with Tiffany and her brother. Had to make his team on the way here. We went to the wrong hotel first. They were navigating, not me. I was putting together Trey's team. So.
All right, well, it sounds like it's been quite the adventure so far, and I'm sure it'll be quite the adventure going forward.
I hope so.
Best of luck with your team, and I hope that we'll be seeing you back in Top Cut because I love the 6 Ultra Beast team. It is ultra.
Thank you.
All right, that's it from us here in Dallas for now. We're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we will be back with more analysis of what we're going to be seeing today, so please stay tuned.
But here